We are back at it again. Alright, so I got some brackets made up. My own design, plenty of adjustability on this rear end project. Got my 4 links all welded up. Got the rear end sitting here. I was thinking, have the rear end sitting just like this. And then I could take my brackets. Then I could just clamp them inside the frame here like that. That way I can get it tacked up here, get it tacked down on the bottom. That way I got everything on that side at least parallel with the frame. And these ones here, I'll have the inside plate, it'll go flush up against the side of the frame, and then these ones will just go up underneath of it. I got all the studs in the rear end. I went ahead and traced the outline around it. That way, when I do go to paint it or have it powder coated, that can just be traced out on that. Coming back over here, we got the brackets. There. So I gave a guy my designs, measurements, and everything. Told him the angles that I needed stuff, and this is what he got me. And just by looking at it, you can see they're not exactly the same, and they need to be at least close to it. And then this is the angle that I actually needed. So that there versus that totally off. I don't know if he was checking angles that I was checking differently. If he just don't know how to measure, maybe I gave him the wrong angles. I don't know. So, then I got these. These will go on top the rear end housing. So, you'll see they're a little longer on this side than that side, because once they get mounted here like this, then I gotta bend these tabs up. Supposedly he couldn't do that himself. I'm not too thrilled about how he did these, because it's just plates welded together. How well, if any I can show that off, you can see down in there there's some weld, not great. Just means a weak spot in it. So I took and cut these. I was messing with it a bit. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Probably not. But before I cut it off, you can see there's some air holes there. So some porosity in it. So as well, it wasn't great anyways. So it was the same way. So as I started grinding on it, so I can get these lined up a little bit. So you can kind of see, you can see where the holes was. Right up through here. Some holes, porosity. So I'm kind of glad I ground that down. So I'll just take and clean these edges up and then weld it to whatever angle I need. Probably. In which case I'll do this one first, and then I'll be able to weld down on the inside on it. May not be able to weld on the inside of this piece once it's all together, but I'll at least be able to get the first ½ inch or so, which should help out. And then I've ground that down there, that way I could bend it. Gotta weld it up. I'll be able to weld right inside of here to add some rigidity to it. And then this part here is what will be welded to the frame. And then I'll come through and drill my holes, get those lined up. And then these here, totally wrong angle. Instead of it being like this, it was supposed to be like this. I don't know, obtuse, acute angles. I'm not real great on those. Which been a long time since I've been in schools and shop class, so we'll be getting to it. Don't know if there was anything else. Got my angle finder. I already know the one that I've bent is about a 25.6, 25.7 degree angle. So I can go through and get the other one to match that. But that's where the progress has made it so far. A little darker back here, but I did get the frame painted. If you're wondering why the rear end is got like that brown looking color to it. Same thing on the frame there, frame up here. That is just weld through primer. I'm going to be putting plates on top of things. Instead of it rusting through, I want it to be at least primered. And then obviously I probably won't need all these bolt holes, but I wanted to make sure I had enough adjustability for wherever I do set things up at. I didn't see any designs, anything sort of like this online on brackets that you could actually buy. So I had to make my own. So my measurements, these are 3/4 inch holes because the heim joints on forelinks are 3/4 inch. So I measured, I think it was an inch from the bottom to the center, and then from every hole it was an inch and an eighth that I measured. Looks like it gives me plenty of room. I didn't double check it, but since we're here talking about it, I believe the distance in between the holes, see if I can get somewhere close. If you can see, we're looking almost 3/8 of an inch of material in between the holes. So that should be plenty fine. Same thing on these. Went an inch and an eighth in between the distance. And then from the bottom side, I probably did the same thing on that, and I don't remember on that. But the brackets themselves, these are about 7 3/4 long. And it's got the 3-inch round cut in it. These bottom plates about 4 1/4. The top one's about 8 1/2, close to that. That way this top piece can be welded to the frame, and then may drill some holes in it. That way I can spot weld it to the frame also. Plug weld it. And then these ones will just be welded on the top side of the frame there. And then after it's all welded up, I may take and weld a piece of metal in between the backside just to help hold them together. Same thing on these. weld a piece of bracket. You'll see that as I go through and do that. But it's looking pretty good. Can't wait to get again. That way I can get the bed on it and finally be able to drive it down the road, make a drive shaft. Anyways, in 3 or 4 years when somebody's actually watching these videos, we'll come back to it. So until then, until next time, you guys hang in there.